Hello and
Ooh.
welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and today for the pregame show, I have Stephen Fox and Marquise Edwards joining us today. Or did I reveal your secret identity?
Ixnay on the Wixnay. He's keys to the world.
I wanted to say two names for some reason. I don't know why. We called you, Keith Edwards, but that would have been cheating. So what's
Hope
up, guys?
all is good. Shout out
Everything's
to
good.
you. Shout out to Keys. Shout out to the Into the Knicks-Verse family. Shout out to the SV Nation. Can't wait to talk basketball.
Absolutely. How about you, Keith? How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, everything's
Sorry to
good.
out
Got
you.
off work. It's all nah, don't worry about it. Don't stress it. Just off work, ready to watch and talk some Knicks and have some fun and see if we can get a W. This is a game we should get a W, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Oh man, we need a W. We need a W bad. Things have gone that little 2-game losing streak really put the team in a funk, put the fan base in a real funk, and me too. I'm one of them too, man. How are you guys feeling about this 2-game stretch of losing that we've been enduring? It's Foxy.
I hate to say that maybe it's a reality of this roster's talent. And tonight is a big one, as you said. We'll get into it a little further, a little later, but just at a very high level, they're a terrible offensive team and a terrible defensive team, offense and defensive team, the Pelicans. So this is a team we should absolutely beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone wrote Knicks versus Spurs. Oh, I screwed up on the thing up there. Yeah, I'll fix that. On the name of the show, I was like rushing to throw
on the title.
So in the title. So I was like, oh man. Salute to the chat.
You know how that goes.
Yeah, I know, right? When you're racing around. Salute to Sincere to Genius, Citizen X, Fabian Williams. Thank you for joining us. Big Task. What's up, brother? Yeah, I got to fix this thing over here.
Hi, Geraldine.
How about you, Keith? How do you feel about this 2-game slide?
I think it's been tough because you look at it. We lost to the Hornets without LaMelo, allowed Bridges to go off. That's concerning. And then you look at the game against the Timberwolves. We got off to a slow start. And we were able to fight our way back. But then towards the end of that game, we just couldn't click, couldn't find any shots, couldn't find any synergy, any continuity out there on the court. And that's definitely concerning as well. But for me, it says, hey, we went out there, we made a trade for Cam, and it's definitely an opportunity for him here because you're looking at what Tibbs is starting to do with some of the younger guys, with Obi, Quick, not even getting 10 minutes out there. But then you've got vets out there that really aren't contributing. Burks, he didn't have it in the game against the Timberwolves. So I just see opportunity for Cam to step in and make an impact out there on the court. So I'm looking at it glass half full as opposed to glass half empty.
Okay. Do you feel kind of like Foxy intimated that he thinks maybe we're discovering what our real talent level is? Like, do you have the viewpoint? Do you share that viewpoint? Do you think is our talent level what our record says it is, or are we underperforming? How do you feel about that?
Coming into the season, I thought we would be a lot better, but I got to judge off what I'm seeing, and I think we're playing to what our record is. We're looking like a 500 team, and luckily for us, we've got other teams playing like that in the Eastern Conference, so we're still in the thick of things. But I think we go up against teams like even the Timberwolves. Cat, he's an elite player in this league. You got Edwards shares the last name with me. He has talent as well. D'Lo. You look at this team and Julius Randle, when he's clicking, he's there. But after Julius Randle, you really don't know what you're going to get from anyone outside of that. So if you want to look at a real barometer, the Timberwolves could be one to look at. This team is deep, but we don't really have that top level talent on the roster.
Yeah, we're also, in reality, we got Kemba back for the last game, but we haven't had him for 9 games before that. We haven't had Rose for a while. So, you know, we're definitely depleted, especially at that point guard spot, which is, you know, we've discussed this. It's the most pivotal position in the NBA now. So, like, I've been struggling with it. I'm wondering, because I actually think we're underperforming for our talent. I know we have certain limitations with our talent. You know, we're not the most athletic team. You know, we're not fast, but the defense is starting to come around. So that's testament to them putting in that effort on that end. But I really think that there's other things happening with this team in the way that the two two starters that were brought in, Walker and Fournier, and then Mitch, let's just count him as a new starter too. I don't think that was blended so well. You know, and that hot start we got off to kind of like blinded us to it all. But that magic game, that third game of the season, that showed us exactly the underbelly of this team can easily implode upon itself. So I think it is partly maybe our talent, maybe we overvalued our talent level to some extent, but I really think that we are actually underperforming. Which means,
especially at home.
At home.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Before those our last two losses, we were starting to win at home. We had put a nice little streak together finally, you know, and I was starting to feel good again about this team. But I mean, you think there's anything to that, or you guys just think, now we really are what we are, you know, in terms of talent, or because if it is underperforming, then that means there's other things to look at, like rotations, decisions in game, holding players accountability, all those things. So I don't know what's I'm basically pushing back on what you guys said and throwing it back out there for you guys. I'll go with Foxy. But Foxy looks ready to go, but
no, I have Lupe in my head. You are what you say you are. So I'm going to a rhythm in my head. Yeah, I think they are. You know, what we're seeing is the reality of inconsistency, and like I said, both at home and, you know, it's teasing the Knick fandom hard. Okay, RJ's got into his groove. 2 games with 13 turnovers. What? Looking at Randall, as Quis has said all season, don't know who's showing up from game to game. He plays a great game, and then the next game he's screaming at the refs. And across the board, Fournier lights it up, and then the next game he gets lit up. And why is he in there? So just from game to game, it's, I'm just dying for some consistency.
All right. How about you, Quis?
Yeah, I think we can be, underperforming or not be as good as we thought we were entering the season and still deal with some of the issues that you mentioned with rotations. Because just because we aren't the most talented team out there on the court doesn't mean we shouldn't be competitive night in and night out. You look at last year's team. Last year's team didn't have elite talent as well, but night in and night out, we showed up, we competed, and we saw positive results at the end. And we're not seeing that this season consistently, like Foxy said, to piggyback on him. So I think, yes, I said we don't have elite talent, but I still agree with you that there are some issues with Tibbs, the rotations. I mentioned it earlier. You've got Obi and you've got Quick. They're only contributing 9 minutes in games at times. You look at late game situations where we could have used another big. Tibbs didn't go to Obi. He went to Burks, who was freezing for the entire game. And, those are still things that we can question, even though I say we may not have thought we were as good as we were going to be entering the season. Yeah.
Yeah. I think also, when you look back, even though we're almost the same record as last season about now, we're similar.
Mm-hmm.
But last year, we were coming off the previous season, which, we were terrible. Our record was terrible. And we were predicted to only win 24 games or something.
Well, 22,
something like that. So the expectations were really low. So just being near 500 felt like we were killing it, So, but this year is totally different. 500 feels like a letdown. So it might be we have the same kind of team but the expectations maybe, and I'm a big a portion of that, ballooning the expectations way beyond what they should have been, which is then invert creating an expectation that's not being met. And now it looks like, wow, we're really a disappointing team. Where in reality, maybe we're not. Maybe we're just going along, and who knows? Maybe in the next month or two, we'll get a little streak going. I don't think we're going to get the 4th seed or anywhere near that, but maybe, we could make it into the playoffs, which last year we had been a play-in team. If someone told you you're going to be a play-in team on day 1 of last season, we would have been ecstatic with that. We ended up being 4th seed, so I think expectations have also hurt us, but I think there is something in the dynamic of the players themselves. They're not gelling. They're not gelling at all.
Different clicks on the team.
Mm-hmm. But George, like also to add to that, it's not just the expectations. It's the fact that when you look at a team and you're looking at a process of building a culture, you want to continually take steps forward. And I think this season, a lot of fans feel like we've taken a step back, and that's where you see a lot of the disappointment stemming from. Like you mentioned it, the year prior, we were not good at all. Then we ended up being the 4th seed. Now, a lot of us wanted us to at least reach that mark and then take a step forward. Now you're saying we're going from the 4th seed to down to the 10th, 11th, and 12th seed. That's a major disappointment for fans. When you look at it that way, I think you can kind of understand better.
Yeah. And I think the biggest, one of the biggest things, piggyback on you now, is that the effort from last year to this year. So I think the fans didn't expect that. I thought, fans thought we were going to build on that tenacious D from last year and having a coach have 5-6 games already in post game saying the effort wasn't there or energy wasn't there. That I was not expecting at all. Not at all, especially on a Tibbs team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. Last year, even though there were times with a little bit of inconsistent effort, but it wasn't the norm. Now it's almost the norm.
Especially from the best player on the team too, which is mind-boggling.
Well, that's a huge issue that we've addressed here on the Knicks-Verse many times. including with Foxy also the other night when we jumped on live to do the post game, which
I don't remember.
I know I was hammered too.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, man. Hey, all right, so let's take a moment to shout out to the chat. We have 46 people with us right now. That's awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. Be civilized. Salute.
Yo, B.
Yeah, man. You guys want to shout anybody out?
Muhammad Musa, a longtime friend. How are you? Big task at hand as always, man. Our friend Stanley Mann, again, some of the great insight and questions. We always love his participation. Anthony 212, buzzer beater. Again, Geraldine, my guy, Citizen X. We love Citizen X, man. We call him the X-Man of the SB Nation. And I'll turn it over to you for a couple shout outs there, Quis.
Got Ashley Incorporated 1. Who else we got over there? You mentioned Geraldine, Herbie Mack. I see him in chat. Who else we got? Sincere the Genius, I believe you guys mentioned already. So yeah, we got a nice turnout in chat. So appreciate you guys supporting the pregame. And let's hope we can have a solid discussion and get a win today, because that's what we really need to right this ship.
Smash those likes, smash that subscriber. Our buddy is 3.86. Let's get him up past the 4,000.
Close to 4,000.
Please, come on. Yeah. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you have subscribed, please tell your friends. Let's get our buddy over that. And while you're at it, please subscribe to Sports Vibe TV. They're guaranteed good time.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to talk about today. It's only about a half hour left for the show. We're going to talk about, obviously, we're going to preview the Pelicans game. Though, again, these previews are hard to always say because we're always missing, every team is missing a lot of players normally. So, but, these two are kind of close to being healthy, fully healthy. But before that, we're going to get to talk about a Jalen Brunson rumor that just keeps gaining momentum. But before we get to that, Stanley Mann put this in the chat. Everyone in our conference has improved significantly. Cleveland, Washington, and Miami have taken major steps. Two of those three teams were not even in the playoff picture last year at all. So that's a huge, major shift. And then last year we had less competition. That's totally true. Totally true. It's important to keep that into perspective. All right, gentlemen. Here we go. Is Jalen Brunson Knicks bound? Is his destiny? It feels like there's so many factors that are pushing to make this happen. Number one being the relationship between the boss and this guy's daddy. You know, it goes way back. Rick Brunson, who was a Knick, was Leon's first client, I believe, or one of the very first. I think it actually was his very first client ever when he was an agent. So there's that history. So for all we know, Leon was in the birthing room with a camera videotaping Jalen coming out of the womb.
That's a little too visual for me.
So you know what I mean? Like they have a lot of history, these guys. The next thing is he's been balling. I mean, he's coming on. These are his this year's stats. His points per game, 18.2. He's averaging about 4 rebounds, almost 6 assists, getting a steal per game on almost 50% field goal shooting. However, his 3-point shooting has taken a dramatic dip from last year. Last year, he was at 40.5%. This year, he's below 33%. Now, and that's also only on 3 attempts per game. That's hardly anything, really, in today's game, especially for a number one. Now, he comes off the bench normally when they're fully healthy. Luka's obviously the lead point guard, but he's actually started often as well. He's a very good defender. His defensive rating is 109. League average is 110. And his net rating is a +8. So his offensive rating is 117. So he's having an excellent year in terms of those stats. The only thing that's weak this year is his 3-point shooting. And I know you guys talked about him on the Sunday show. But if I'll throw it out to you guys right now. If there's anything else you want to like add to this or anything that you've come across in the past couple of days about him possibly joining us. I'm going to go with Foxy first.
We touched on it, and he's having, like you said, a spectacular. It's a weird year. The 34% is the league average from 3 this year. So you take a step back and you say, "Whoa, De'Aaron Fox is shooting 24% and change from 3." So not everybody is really lighting it up, but the stat on Brunson that really impresses me is one of 5 players this year that one of only 5 players this year that has 15 points, 5 assists, and shooting over 50%. And the other 4 are Jokic, Giannis, KD, and LeBron James. So that's pretty good company. And as you pointed out, that defensive rating, just because he's diminutive don't mean, that he's not good on defense. He's Villanova tough. So with that and what you were alluding to, his connections, and we touched on that, he grew up in a professional environment. He knows the sport, well. He has excellent handles. So if we could get him, and also the thing that we touched on, they are limited at 13.9. They can't go 1 penny over 13.9 million Dallas. So I don't know if they can keep him.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to be able to keep him. So they'll probably, which is why all this talk has popped up. A sign and trade kind of a thing. Or we just, we trade for him and then we extend him, or we give him a nice contract. What kind of numbers you think we'd be talking about in terms of re-signing him?
Quis, you want to take it?
I'll stick with Foxy because I have a specific question.
Okay, I was thinking in the 15 to 18 million range. I know he said 20, but I was hoping maybe a hometown discount because of that relationship and stuff like that. And I also had a crazy other thought today in the last couple of days. Rokas. Dallas has had a history of liking European players. So I thought maybe Rokas in a trade. He's making 1.8 million this year. So I was hoping that them loving European players in the past and nurturing it, that maybe Rokas could be a trade piece that we can get him.
Cool. Actually, that was kind of like what I was going to ask Quis.
Damn it! I didn't know. I'll take
it.
Wait,
no, what kind of deal you think? Like, what would it cost us to be able to bring Jalen over before the trade deadline ends? Quis.
Me?
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what it'll cost. I know what I'm willing to give up. I don't know if I would include a first in a deal, but if it was just going to be Rokas and maybe an additional second, you might get me to the table. The issue I have with going after Brunson is I don't want to pay twice. So I'm going to have to give up Rokas, who I dropped a video on the channel showing what he's been doing over in Europe. And he's looked like a solid point guard, a backup point guard. I think is where his ceiling may end up being. But I think he's still a solid point, he's still a solid player that has potential here in the league. So I don't know if I'd want to give up too much for a Brunson, knowing that we're now going to have to potentially give him the bag. That's one thing I don't like to do. I was willing to do it.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I was willing to do it last season with Alonzo, even though now he's hurt because, he's a big point guard. He was shooting the three around 40%. He was playing elite level defense. So I was willing to do that move, but I don't know if Brunson would move the needle on the Knicks enough for us to give up the assets in a trade and then also give him a contract. Because what if he hits the market and says, hey, I feel like I can be the next Fred VanVleet and I'm going to better myself and I want that type of money. Then we're going to have problems.
Yeah. True. Like, because we've talked about that there's a dearth of young point guards that are available. So some team might be like, yeah, we'll throw 24, 25 million at you.
It's overpaying.
Do we want? Yeah, I know, but you could see someone doing that. But
no doubt.
They're not going to give up assets. It's just money to them if they have the money available. But we're not in that situation anymore. So it's tricky. It's not as seamless a fit as we would think, because he's really not, in my opinion, he's not a starting point guard in the NBA. He's a very good player, but I don't think he's a starting point guard. I even saw someone posted in there, I'm not feeling Brunson. There's something about him. I'm not sure. Doesn't quite doesn't feel like doesn't move the needle.
Doesn't move the needle.
Yeah, but a starting point guard, is that a real good starting point guard? Isn't that in the 30-35 million range?
Yeah. And there's a reason.
But do you think you can see us winning the championship, Brunson running the ship?
No, but I think he's the type of point guard that's not a ball dominant. So with RJ and the other guys, short term, he may, for the next few years, if this is the lineup we're going with, he'd be somebody complimentary to allow the development of RJ and others, because he's not a ball dominant point guard.
We have that, and he just went 16 for 16 in Westchester. Tim beat the player.
Yeah, if only.
Yeah.
Hey, Deuce will be there. The problem is one guy's 25, one guy's 21. So can we wait a few years for Deuce to get those handles and get that playmaking skills to a level? He already is a better defensive player, I think, or at least on par, until he gets the reps. But he definitely has the talent to be a better defensive player. It's just the other elements that Brunson is at this point, has much better handles than Deuce.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, just we got this super chat. Thank you so much, Buzzer Beater. He's like, trade Fournier, Walker, and a first for Halliburton. Hey, that's actually
I don't know if the money's line up, but
yeah, I don't know if the money lines up. But it's kind of sad that we'd have to give up all that, and we could have just drafted him
for Halliburton. We could have just drafted him. Oof. Meanwhile, Obi can't hit double-digit minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if a conversation like that happens. I'm not sure they'll pull the trigger on it, but either side, honestly. But we'll see.
Yeah, but the crazy thing with Sacramento is that if you put in replace Halliburton with Fox, then we're saying, hey, this guy is lightning. He has some really good stats at age 23. Is one of only a few players, Oscar Robertson and a couple others, that average X amount, 20 some odd points and 7 assists. but his defense is bad, and he's shooting 24% from three. So do you want to pay 3 times as much as Brunson for a guy that's shooting like that and has never had a history making the guys around him better? So it's a conundrum. So what do? Go for the shiny, fancy thing, De'Aaron Fox, or do you go for the boring thing that's at a better value?
Yeah. It's a tough choice.
If I'm gonna make a move, I'm gonna make a splash. Call the Spurs or call the Thunder, see if we can make something happen.
Oh, I'd love DeJounte Murray. Oh my God, I'd love him.
Those are the type of moves we should be making.
Did you see that between the legs bounce pass?
Oh my God, it was killer. And the way he just came up the court, he was just so slick, and then boom, did that.
Murray's not leaving San Antonio.
I know.
We'd have to overwhelm them. It would just be crazy. And I don't even think we have stuff that they necessarily want. So, but OKC is a possibility. SGA, Fox. I know you guys aren't as high on him as I am, but I think he has we'll get into it another time, but he's someone I would definitely look at. And actually, it goes perfectly with Citizen X's super chat. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Be honest. What is your biggest realistic wish trade, if any? What are you willing to give up? Well, I'll just jump out. I don't even know if it's my biggest one, but I just want it on top of my head because we literally just talked about it before. I would be interested in a Randall for Fox trade at its core. What other elements are attached to it? Not sure, but basically I would be interested in that kind of a trade. And for one reason mostly is it would solve our point guard issues for at least, 4 or 5 years. He's young, he's dynamic. Is he flawed? Yes. But he had a pretty excellent season last season. And the guy that this year has definitely been a down year for him, but man, his athleticism is just something extraordinary. He's dynamic. He's electric. When you really, even though a couple of times I've been watching him, when they needed a bucket, he hasn't gotten it for him, but then you look at his box score, he has 27 points on 10 of 17 shooting. And then I'm bummed that he didn't hit that game winner. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's not a Chris Paul at all, that kind of realm of point guard. He's just dynamic, athletic, a bit. I don't know. I would definitely go for that kind of a big splash trade with those two. I will go with Quis this time. How about you, man?
Well, I'd probably go for his backcourt mate and go after Halliburton if I was going to make a big splash deal instead of going after Fox. Because like Foxy said, Fox and Foxy.
Like sounds Fox like a said, law firm.
Yeah, right. Like Foxy had said, with RJ, we looked good with the offense running through RJ. So if you can bring in a player like Halliburton that can play defense, that can knock the three, has nice size, and has shown the ability to play off ball well and still be effective, that's the move I would make if it was going to be realistic. But if you want me to be unrealistic, then like I said, I'm going after Murray or SGA if they're available.
Citizen X paid $5 to hear our realistic wish trade.
I gave you
Halliburton. All right. Hey, Halliburton he's been talked about. Even though the Kings also then came out, or someone made a report that the Kings are not looking to trade Fox or Halliburton, that they want to build around them. And that kind of came out in response to this whole rumor mill of them looking to trade anybody.
Fox for Ben, I think, right? Was it?
Yeah, the Fox for Ben. Yeah. How about you, Foxy? What's your biggest realistic wish trade?
I think he touched on it. One. No, I think he just touched on it. Getting the salaries in ballpark. So Randall and Fox is a realistic trade because of salaries.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Salaries.
Yeah. So when I looked at that, No, there's another guy.
Ages are a little similar.
Yeah, the other guy on the team is Buddy Hield, that is in the similar salary as Randall. But we need a point guard, so I'm with you. So that to me is the most realistic because of them having both Halliburton and Davion Mitchell as insurance for that point guard position going forward. So yeah, I'm with you all the way. I think that's the most realistic one.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, haven't really heard any much other than the Tommy Beer putting out his proposal and stuff. It's been a little bit shrouded in secrecy about whether that's even been discussed at all. But I think it has. I think they definitely have at least kicked the tires on it, both teams. And because it actually makes sense. It makes a lot of sense for the Kings. Here's how it makes sense for Kings. They can say, yeah, we're trading away De'Aaron Fox, who, is our quote best player, but we're getting back a second team All-NBAer. And he's a power forward. He's going to solve that problem for us in that position. And we already have an excellent player to step into Fox's shoes. So the pieces are there. It fits well for them. And for us, it also fits well because if we hold on to Obi, we have Obi would become our starting power forward. We'd have Fox as our starting point guard. And then we have Cam on the bench who's going to be fighting for minutes. I like the idea of Cam with Fox, RJ. I mean, that's a lot of youth. It's dynamic. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but George, who's shooting? You're going to have Fox out there. You're going to have Obi out there. They're both shooting in the 20s or something or close to it. And then you got Mitch out there who JD told us can't hit from 10 feet away. Imagine the spacing out there.
Yeah, it's going to have to just be that's the thing. We're going to have to
imagine what happens when they go zone then.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you have to that's why Fournier plays a part because he's the one shooter. The one pure shooter, and he's actually been delivering lately, except for that one weird Bizarro game where I don't think he scored a point. He's all over the place. He gives you 3 points, 40 points, 6 points, 27 points. He's
That's
all
the
over
whole
the place.
team.
Yeah.
And just from rumor mills, I could see, meaning reading some of Sacramento rumor mills, they'd package a Fox and a Bagley, maybe for a Randall and an Obi.
So then they're gonna be dealing with the same conundrum over there.
I agree with you, but I think they will. I agree. But
they're trading for Obi just for the sake that they say they got Obi,
or for the sake of getting rid of Bagley. That was really what they were saying.
Yeah. Jason puts in, George just wants to trade Randall. There is a lot of truth to that, Jason. There is. Until, you know what? He's going to have to win me back over. I ain't going to give it to him. He's going to have to. The dude, let's just get into this. Give you guys a little, and maybe you've all seen this already. Here it is. Where is it? Where is this thing?
Shout out to Lex the Destroyer while you're looking. Chris Dada, as always. Yeah. Jazz Prince. Severlinks. Fritz Alcindor. Brother PKL Contreras, my brother. Hope all is well with you and the family. Randall Perez. Always big task at hand. Chuck Allen, my buddy. Knicks for life. Man, I love his takes. Hope all is well with the family, Chuck.
Big task is funny. He said the Knicks need to get Murray the Brooklyn way and just take him.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Julius
That's
Randle.
a good one.
Julius Randle has 152 points in the last 10 games. He's needed 159 attempts to get 152 points.
Mr. Inefficiency.
That's not a number one. Number one is the guy you depend on to get you that bucket when you need it. Number one is the one that covers up the failings of your other players on your squad, especially in your starting unit. Number one
hits his free throws in the clutch.
Number one hits his free throws, even though he hit 8 of 10 in that game. I think 8 of 10, right? Or something. He hit the majority of his, he had pretty good, or maybe 7 of 9, whatever it was, but he misses a key one.
Yeah,
that's a number one.
Yeah.
And he wants to act like a number one. He wants to be treated as a number one, but he's not delivering on the court as a number one. So until he returns or at least begins to give us the effort every night, night in, night out, no sulking, no hunched shoulders, no like kind of waiting back by the baseline there because he was like, wondering why he didn't get a call, all that stuff. Until all that is gone, I'm probably not going to move off this trade Randall because his value is still high. He really is. He is a top power forward still in this game. Unfortunately for us, we have a lot of holes that he does not cover up. That's just my feeling about that.
Yeah. I said to a friend of mine today that the only thing scarier to Knicks fans than having the game on the line with 8 seconds to go is giving the ball to Randall for an ISO move. Is Randall getting fouled doing an ISO move? That's even more frightening.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. I mean, I've been hearing from everybody. They're like, I knew he was going to miss that first free throw.
Everybody in the Knick fandom knew it. You could see it in his eyes, man. He's scared.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you have a super chat from our buddy Quis Data.
And we also have the starting lineups too after that.
Yeah, anybody let us know if you heard about Devontae Graham. He's had a bad ankle, so he was. I don't know. I know Kemba's starting.
According to
we surveyed 100 people. He put it down. Yeah.
God bless him.
All right, Quis Data, thank you so much, man, for the contribution. The league changing from Spalding to Wilson may be a reason for the down year in shooting. Obi and Fox will have better 3-point numbers next season. There's a lot of truth to that.
There is a lot of truth to that. Great point.
And I've heard other players say it. Even RJ, I can't remember at one point, but he talked about it a while ago. He said, "Yeah, we had the ball over the summer, but it just when you're used to a certain kind of ball your whole life, and then suddenly it changes. It takes a while to get used to it." There's that, and then you factor the crowds, and you factor all the extra stuff that players and everybody, attached to teams have to go through for COVID, the deal with COVID. Everything takes a little longer. There's the testing, everything. It just eats away time that you probably used to spend just on the court shooting. So the demands on their lives have also taken a toll. So that combined with the 3-point, the ball, combined with the new ball, has definitely impacted 3-point numbers. And I could see, I do feel like the Fox's dip is not like a permanent dip. He's a decent, mid 30s, 36 kind of guy. I see him in that area, which is nothing spectacular, but it's definitely a lot better than 32%. So, or whatever. What's he shooting now?
24.8.
24. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 36 is what is above league average, right?
34.8 is the league average.
Yeah, that's a pretty good
It's
shooter at 36.
Last year was higher. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why the point by Chris about the ball was a great one, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that, Chris.
Yeah. Killer take.
All right. Knicks versus Pelicans. Knicks are 5-5 in the last 10 games. Pelicans 4-6. We're only scoring about 100.5 points per game, and we're allowing 101.1 points per game. So we're a minus differential there. The Pelicans are allowing a lot more, 111.7 points, and their differential is a minus 4.2. So you can just see it right there. We should win this game. We're a decent rebounding team. Look, they're not so bad, 44.1%. Our assists finally got back over 20 per game. It was at 19 something. Really dismal.
I want to see what our turnovers per game is like after our game.
Oh yeah,
on Tuesday.
Jesus,
and foul shooting.
Yeah. Actually, we were a pretty decent foul shooting team for a stretch there. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but the field goal percentage, 44.5, and they're 43.9%. So this is looking like a game that we should definitely win. Brandon Ingram's having a good season, 22.7% points per game on 44.3 field goal percentage, hitting 82% of his free throws. It's nice. Randall's below 20, below 42% field goal. His free throws are 76.2%, but the ones he misses kill us. Valanciunas is leading rebounds, 12 per game. Randall's at 10. Assists, look at that. 5.2, basically almost similar. 5.2, 5.1 to Randall. And let's see, the Pelicans. So yeah, they lost that game to the Celtics. The Nets. They beat the Clippers. They destroyed the Clippers. Just such a weird league, NBA. And we lost those last two there. So what are you guys expecting for this game tonight, Quis?
Well, I'm looking to see what Mitch does against Jonas. We already know how Mitch can have issues with bigs that can step out and knock down the three. So I want to see how Mitch shows up today. I want to see him be a beast out there on the boards too. As you can see, Valanciunas is a monster in the paint when it comes to rebounding. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Mitch. And we're saying it time and time again, Mitch is an impending free agent. And if he wants his money, it's matchups like this where we want to see him start winning them. And hopefully he goes out there and he's able to show us something. And if you look at the matchup against Brandon Ingram, this would have been a game where we could have used Cam. I think would have liked to see Cam in this game. Actually, the last three games,
the third game in a row. Yeah,
that it would have been nice to see Cam. Cam, you would have seen him against Bridges when he was going crazy in the first quarter. We could have seen him against the Timberwolves when we needed scoring late in that game and really didn't have anybody to put out there. We had to go to Burks. And in this game, we could have seen him matched up against Ingram. I think JD put out a tweet saying that Cam really steps up when he has, he's going up against elite comp. So with him not being in the game, it falls down to now RJ. RJ will be in the three. He's going to have to take the matchup against Ingram. I want to see how he steps up. Is he able to look off what he was doing the last couple games with the bad turnovers, get his head right, and start making better decisions? Can he make that? Can he play that bully ball, get into the paint, finish around the rim? Those are some things that I'm looking for from RJ in this game. And then can he knock down his three? Because when RJ's knocking down his three, his game is completely different. Because now defenses have to step up and force him off the 3-point line, and that allows him to get to his spots a lot easier. So those are a few things I'm going to be looking. Yeah. The dynamic of the team is different when.
Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup, RJ and Ingram. As you know, Quis, JD and I have an ongoing text battle debate about Ingram and RJ. And RJ, in Ingram's third year, he had 6 30+ games. And JD was using that as like, oh, that's, what you got to be doing. Like this is back when RJ was giving us 9 points per game in that area. And I was like, well, RJ already has 2. And he had, JD had forgotten because of his inconsistency. And now he's gotten 2 more. He had him back to back. So now he's up to 4. So the guy is coming on. He's young. He doesn't have the, the length, obviously, that Ingram has. It makes it easier for him to get his shot off. But he's stronger. He's stronger than Ingram. So it's going to be an interesting battle. I actually expect RJ to do well tonight. I think he's going to have a nice bounce back game. For all we know, he'll get 30. He'll get 30 tonight.
Yeah. My key stat that I looked at for tonight's game is that they're 27th in blocks. So with not having a Robert Williams type of shot blocker there, I'm looking for him to be aggressive, getting to the hole.
We know RJ feasts when that happens.
Yeah, so that's exactly. So he doesn't have that fears that he needs to pull up and take that midi. So let him get to the hole, and hopefully either finishes or he gets fouled. So, but the weird part is they're 26. They're a terrible offensive team. They're 26 in field goal percentage, 24th in 3-point percentage, 25th in 2-point percentage. And then on the defensive side, they're 27th in field goal percentage, 29th in 3-point percentage, and 22nd in 2-point percentage. So, folks, but also the last one, and George and I are disciples about this, the 4 factors that on the offensive effective field goal percentage, they're 50.1, let's say, and on the defensive, they're 54.4. So they're giving up a hell of a lot more. So that's a real anomaly. So, folks, we should really win this game. They suck on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, we should actually. Let's go back. Oh, here, good. This is what I want to see. Not that. This here. So, remember last game? I almost predicted the exact score. Remember, Keith? I said, look, so the Knicks need to score more than 110 to win. And they almost did it. Almost did it.
We pushed.
We pushed.
And they give up 110 points a game.
Yeah. Well, they're giving up 100, almost 112. So, but we're down
in the last 10, exactly. Yeah.
So the way I look at it is I split the difference. So here we should be able to score about 106, 107 points. And we can hold them to 103. So we can win this game, 106, 107. 107 to 103 in that realm. But if RJ, starts cooking and Randall starts cooking, I have a feeling we're going to see the team really, really, really heat up today and do really well today.
We just don't want Devontae Graham cooking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we know someone's gonna have a career half. Some opponent.
Did you give D Nice that shout out?
Yeah, man. Thank you, D Nice, so much for your contribution, brother. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And the whole time you've been an awesome supporter of the Knicks-Verse.
Shout out to Jay Boogie. We love you, Boogie.
I saw Jay Boogie.
Yeah, salute to Jay Boogie.
Yeah, let's see. Throw his up here. Salute, brother. We now stepping into the Knicks-Verse. 3 of the best getting us amped up for this game. Ain't nothing but true facts. Late support the channel. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Like that.
I love that, man.
Yes. Salute.
George and his Jay Boogie voice. Jay Boogie voice.
Yeah, I'm doing my own little impersonation.
They say Boogie, why you talk like that?
Into the next verse in the bar.
I spit bars, that's why I talk like that.
Yeah, man, that's funny. That's funny. Hey, man, so we got this. What are your score predictions for tonight? Because the game's going to start pretty soon.
I don't go. I'm not a guy into the score, but I do hope, and I think the Knicks are going to win this one tonight, folks.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get us back to 500 too. That would be the most important thing. How about you, Quis? Any thoughts on possible score?
I think we figure it out offensively. The guys come out motivated, and we win 115 to 109.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, it's Kemba. Kemba's starting again, right? Is that for sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that from Ian Begley too.
All right, cool. Because sometimes, the other game
you never know with Kemba.
Yeah, you never know with Kemba. So Kemba's starting again. I expect him to also have another good game. Look, we're going to get at least 3 more good games out of Kemba before he needs to take a break.
Statistically, you're right.
So let's enjoy him now. Get those.
Tim doesn't sound pleased about it either. So we'll see how that goes for the remaining portion of the season.
Hey, you got a super chat from a really good friend, L. Marshall, man. Hope all is well.
Thank you so much, brother. Wow. Excellent. Thank you for the contribution, man. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Yeah. What were you saying, Quis, about Thibs not being happy about
it doesn't seem like Tibbs was too happy with the way Kemba has been monitoring his knee and things like that. He didn't sound happy about it when asked when he was going to return. He just said, "Don't know," just blew it off. And he said, Kemba's dictating his terms when he comes, when he's able to play and when he's not. So I don't think Tibbs is too happy about that. I think there was some rumblings that the reason Kemba lost his spot was the fact that he didn't want to play the back-to-back and Burks had to start. So something to keep your eye on as the season progresses.
Yeah. Hey, before we just have a few minutes here. All right. So there's a possibility. I mean, right now, for you, if you guys heard Ian Begley talk about it, I think it was today. He said that the Knicks, we're not going to be sellers. He doesn't see the team being sellers. I haven't decided yet, as we've talked about, what is the best approach for this exact team. But I did put out a tweet that I said I would rather roll with young players, with the young core, and lose than be a middling team shackled with vets and just be 500. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, I know. I just want you guys to share with everybody else. I'll start with Quis.
I totally agree with you. You said it in a response to one of my retweets, I think, of Bobo going off in the first half. So make sure you guys follow at Into the Knicks-Verse on Twitter and follow at Sports Vibes TV for updates on our channels. But I agree with you. I'd rather do that, see if we can move forward with some high potential young players and see what their ceiling is, as opposed to going out there knowing that we're getting inconsistent play from these veterans and that we can't continue to build a team around these vets and expect to win anything major. Maybe we might get another first round exit, but I think that's the ceiling if we continue to put those vets out there for major minutes. So I would definitely prefer to go with a team that's, playing Cam a lot of minutes, playing Obi a lot of minutes, going out and trading for Mo Bamba, playing him a lot of minutes, and seeing what we can do with those pieces together. But I just don't think the vets are the answer. And I don't think this team is set up to be sellers, because most of the teams that are sellers, they've got vets that are positive assets and usually on shorter deals. A lot of the vets we have, they've got at least another year or some change. We've got Burks, and that's it.
But you know what? I think that front office strategy has shifted, Quis, from years past, where there was a higher value to an expiring contract than there is now. Because the free agency markets are so thin now that everything's a lot of it is sign and trades. So
even though it's not just that, though, you look at the players, even the ones that are only have a year left, they're
like
not
Burks.
really.
Let's talk about like Burks. Use him as an example.
Yeah, even Burks is inconsistent. So me as a contending team, I'm going to invest, draft capital that's probably going to be a late pick. But, if I go out there and bring Burks, is he going to bring it for me every night? And then there's too many questions, too many variables, because then you can always look at the counter argument and say maybe Burks is so inconsistent because there's no stability with this rotation. It's in a constant state of flux, and now he's being asked to do too much. So the Knicks, I think, it's weird to gauge this team as sellers because there's so much inconsistency up and down this lineup. And with these vets, I don't know if other teams would be willing to bring them on with their salaries, even though they're not, terrible salaries. It's just the players aren't performing even close enough to what they're being paid for teams to warrant it.
All right. Foxy.
I agree with Keith that, and with just meaning.
Okay, thank you so much. No, okay.
It's twofold. From a development standpoint, it would be invaluable for the kids to get real reps, real game time reps for them to develop, and also for the talent evaluators of this team to see them have those reps, so to better assess them. It's very hard to see talent if they're not getting real game minutes. So I think it's a weird win-win. And why the hell would you want to play journeyman? What's that going to do for your future? So if you want to build your future, start with the kids and really find out who the ones have game and who have potential to have the game, or who the ones you have to move on from.
Okay, so there you have it. We're all on board. We definitely would embrace a youth movement because we have some talented young players. Mm-hmm. We've had two excellent drafts, and let's find out what their ceiling is.
One thing for damn sure, you're not going to hear him talk about energy issues if he plays the kids.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we're getting close. I think this trade, the trade deadline and how we perform up until then is going to really decide a lot. I don't think we're, like you said, I don't think we're going to be sellers where we just just go and clear the cupboard. I don't think we're going to do that at all. But I could see if the right offer comes for a Burks,
right value offer.
Yeah, right value offer for a Burks, because we do need to open up some space, or else how can we find out what Cam has? And he's going to play.
He has to play.
Yeah, you don't make that trade. You don't give up.
I mean, we say that, but we invested a high pick in Obi, and he doesn't play. So you never know with Tibbs.
It's true. That's
the frustrating part about being a Knicks fan right now.
Yeah, but Cam's skill set is so much at another level than Obi's, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, his handle and his
shooting and his defense. But other than that, they're equal.
The defense. I'm not that. I don't know if he's that much better a defender than Obi.
Oh, not even close. Come on, George.
I'm telling you guys will see. Unless he comes here and he's going to be like, yeah, well, maybe. Hey, I hope so. I'm just saying, he's not necessarily that much better from what I've seen. But hey, it'd be great if he turns out to be. I think also here's another possibility, and we're going to end this really soon because we're coming up close to it. But there is a possibility we make hardly any trades. And this is the team that continues through the end of this season, and it's just a brawl for minutes. It's a brutal fight for minutes, and that actually may be a strategy to get these guys to rise up, be more consistent, to start reaching their own ceilings, or else you're not going to get minutes. And maybe ceiling's a little high, but you start performing and delivering and being consistent. Burks, you can't not score a point. With 28.
And he's the one that was getting minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So it kind of defeats the purpose of what you just said. Tibbs is going to play his vets when it comes
but
to
I'm saying he
versus
may
a
not.
young player.
He may end up out. You know what I mean? If I think it's going to be a battle through the end if we don't make moves, because like we said, Cam is going to play, Grimes is going to play. He's not going to sit those guys. It's also a bad business strategy. They're your assets. If you're sitting them, you're not developing them. If you're not developing them, they're just growing moss. They're not growing value. So it's gonna be wild. All right, we gotta go.
You see my buddy Chuck Allen's comment? If so, then pass the Tums, please.
Yes,
he's the coolest. Chuck, you're the coolest, man.
Yo, man, be ready. Be ready. Get a nice family-sized jug of Tums.
Or another type of jug with something else in it.
Yeah, right? Something else. All right, guys. This has been awesome. Another great pregame. We got into it all. Thank you guys for joining us. Oh, I see Bodega Wi-Fi. Knicks for life.
My buddy, my family. I love my Bodega.
Michael West. We survey 100 people. Lex the Destroyer. Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
To you guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for doing what you do, man. I love how you handle it all, man. You're fantastic at it. Quis, you want to sign off?
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the support. Let's hope we get a win tonight, man, because I want to head home from work excited, screaming from the top of the car that the Knicks have won and we're back on a winning streak. So just praying for that.
Foxy, and say your goodbyes.
Again, let's go Knicks. I think this is absolutely a game. I feel very strongly we're going to win tonight. So let's go Knicks. I want RJ to bounce back from those 13 turnovers in the last 2 games. Want us to play a good, hard, tenacious game, and we protect our home turf.
I like that from Foxy. Remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, Foxy couldn't say if he were going to win or not. Now he has strong conviction that this team is going to win. I like that.
that helps, George. Thank you. That was the punchline. It's the Pelicans.
Yeah, man. All right, brothers. Let's win this game. Knicks Nation, you're the best fans. I love it. I love doing this, man. This is fun. I get whenever I'm down or whatever, I think, hey, I get to talk with my buddies about the game and stuff and chat with everybody.
We're blessed.
Best part of the day. All right, guys. Well, you know what time it is. It's time to say, I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.